Addiction to pain pills is an epidemic in the Bay Area, but some researchers think they could have a cure. Tonight, Brenda McLaughlin reveals how some scientists say a future vaccine may be the cure to addiction.
It was a car accident that David Rifkin blames for his daughter's addiction.
Based on real and phantom pain, Emily used back problems to get drugs. And it was directly because of the accident that she was able to do that.
Emily Rifkin was just 13 when she was struck in her father's car. That's why she first started going to pain management clinics. Years later, Emily found herself hopelessly addicted to oxycodone. She dropped out of college, losing her 4-year scholarship to USF.
It consumed my entire life. These pills ran my life.
Researchers say about 50% of addiction is genetic, though no one in Emily's family had a known history of addiction.
It's very well documented that addiction is a disease.
Liz Harden is Chief Operating Officer at the Drug Treatment Center known as DACO.
It hijacks the brain. In fact, when people start using drugs, it doesn't take very long for the brain to actually change.
We see differences in the brains, in the structure and in the functioning of the brains of people who have addiction compared to those who don't.
Dr. Wilson Compton with the National Institute on Drug Abuse says there's a lot of research going on to find a cure for addiction. He says PET scans and MRIs reveal that the front part of the brain is diminished in most prescription drug abusers. It's the part of the brain that controls pleasure, anxiety, and fear.
For the drug to have its effect, it has to get into your brain, and an antibody can trap it in our circulatory system.
Which is why some scientists think a cure for addiction could be possible, and it could be as simple as a vaccine.
The way vaccines work is they create proteins in our body, antibodies, that react to a foreign chemical, a foreign substance. The idea is that if you have a lot of the antibodies in your system, it'll keep the drug in your circulation and won't allow it to get into the brain.
Compton is not directly involved in any of the research, but he says the challenge is figuring out a way to have enough antibodies in your system to keep the drug from going into your brain.
Well, it's really kind of remarkable that a vaccine might be useful for the treatment of addiction.
The research continues, and the idea has promise.
I know that I've got a problem and I've got to fix it.
Sadly, it does not come soon enough for the Rifkins and other families trying to help their loved ones wrapped up in addiction.
I know it's a disease. It's an insidious disease. And one pill leads to 2 pills, leads to 3 pills, because what you're looking for is that first euphoric high. That's what you're always trying to get.
Please join us Friday night at 8 p.m. when ABC Action News and the Tampa Bay Times present If I Die Young. It's a very personal look at the prescription pill epidemic in Florida. You'll find out what happened to Emily Rifkin and another local woman trapped in a vicious cycle of courts, jails, halfway houses, and rehab. It's an important hour in which we dig into the causes and possible solutions to what's been called the worst crime problem in the Bay Area. That's Friday night at 8 o'clock on ABC Action News.